Hi everyone, my name is Abby Waterman and this is my What is Your Culture video. So to start, I am my nationality is American. I was born and raised here in Pennsylvania. But my ethnicity, however, is like a melting pot. We'll get into that though, but I'm Italian, Irish, Welsh, Swedish. So let's just hop right into it. So on my dad's side, the Waterman family, my ancestors come from Wales in England. So we're Welsh on my dad's side. On my grandmother's side, so my dad's mother, both of her parents were Swedish. So she's fully Swedish. So I'm also Swedish on my dad's side. A couple fun facts about my dad's ancestors. So I have a Waterman ancestor who at the time in Wales was a political leader in their hometown. I thought that was pretty cool. I found that out a couple years ago. And then a couple years ago, I also found out that an ancestor of mine named Emily Waterman married the British military officer Benedict Arnold, who ended up becoming a criminal for treason. So I kind of thought that was really interesting because that's like really crazy. So then on my mother's side, I do know a lot more about the history of my mother's side just because I've had more access to family members to ask questions, and as well as my great uncle a few years back did a huge ancestry project and found out a bunch of information. So on my grandfather's side, so my mother's father, he's Irish, and so we're very Irish on my grandpa's side. I also found out, my grandmother told me that on my grandpa's side there is some Native American blood in him because he had a like ancestor, I think he was a cousin who was Native American. So there might be some Native American blood in me. I thought that was pretty cool. But then on my grandmother's side, so my mother's mom, it's a little more complicated because my grandmother was adopted. So she's not sure exactly what her ethnicity is by blood. She does know that she's French Canadian on her biological mother's side, but that's about all she knows because she was adopted as a baby and then her biological parents passed away a long time ago. So she was never really able to find out much information. However, my grandmother was adopted into a very strong Italian household. So she was raised in the Italian culture, the cooking, the speaking, the mannerisms, you know, you name it. So because she was raised in an Italian household and taking in that culture, it was just passed down to like my mother and then to me. So even if I don't have any Italian blood in me biologically, I always consider myself Italian and say, you know, I'm Italian on my mother's side. So, but one of these days I would like to take an ancestry DNA test to see what other ethnicities I could be on my mom's side, because I don't know. But yeah, I thought I would show you some recipes that are kind of staples in my family on my mother's side. We make them all the time for parties or just for dinner. So the first one is a snack. It's they're called hot pretzels. You can see this recipe is very old and dirty, but it's pretty much just like a bag of pretzels. You take a bag of pretzels and you mix in some seasonings and they make and then you heat them in the oven and it makes them spicy essentially, and they're really yummy and I like them. But you'll definitely want some water or milk to drink with them because they are spicy. The next one is my grandmother's, well, my great-grandmother's famous Italian meatballs and tomato sauce. She makes them both from scratch. My great-grandmother, I believe, used to make pasta from scratch. My grandma doesn't most of the time just because it is a long process. And honestly, I don't mind spaghetti out of a box because with this tomato sauce and these meatballs, it's pretty dang good. So yeah, the meatballs are really good. And so is the tomato sauce. Another one, which is one that my mom makes a lot, is calico beans. You can see this is another really old one. My mom makes them a lot in the summer for picnics, graduation parties, but those are really good too. And I'm not even a big fan of beans, so. But yeah, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed watching my video about my family's culture. So thank you.